Senator we have to stand for. You know, good evening. Thank you all for being here today. Before I left my office today, I got a call from President Obama. And he asked me if I would deliver a message to Alex Sink tonight. He said, you know, he knows that Alex Sink is a big fan of Obamacare. And he knows that she's kind of distraught over the fact that she had to leave her home in Hillsborough County in order to parachute into Pinellas to run for our congressional seat. So he wanted me to make his personal commitment to her. And he wanted me to tell her, Alex, if you like your home in Hillsborough County, you can keep your home in Hillsborough County. Period. End of story. David Jolly does not need to be taught about Pinellas County. David Jolly was born in Pinellas County. He has lived in Pinellas County. He has worked in Pinellas County. And he has served in Pinellas County. He knows, we don't have to teach him about how important the beaches are to Pinellas County. He has walked those beaches. He's worked with Congressman Bill Young for many years on the beach renourishment and other issues important to Pinellas County. He gets it. He understands it. He doesn't have to be taught about St. Petersburg College and how important that is to our community. He's been there. He doesn't have to be taught about Bay Pines and our commitment to the veterans of America here in Pinellas County. He's worked there, and he has served it, and he knows it. And he doesn't need to be taught how important our military contractors and businesses are in Pinellas County to the jobs in our community. He's not only been there, he's put organizations together to help to strengthen their bond in Pinellas County because he knows that we need the jobs and America needs the protection. That's what David Jolly is about. That's why I am so honored to support him for Congress. And now I am very, very honored to introduce David Jolly, the next congressman from Pinellas County. Please welcome.
School bus driver Hey, thank you. Thank everyone. This is our victory. This is your victory. You did this. You did this because you believed in us on November 7th of last year. That we got in this race on a message that resonated with the people of Pinellas County, and I appreciate that. Thank you very much, everybody here this evening. Thank you. My mentor, Bill Young, served with a Democratic Speaker of the House by the name of Tip O'Neill. Yeah. And you know where I'm going with this. Tip O'Neill left an indelible legacy on the country with one simple message. All politics is local. He was right. This is a local race. This is a Pinellas County race. This race is about making sure somebody from Pinellas County is elected to represent Pinellas County in Washington, D.C. Tonight, General Mark Bircher, a fine and distinguished gentleman who I am now proud to call a friend of mine. And we have agreed, as well as with Kathleen Peters, that this is about bringing the party together and making sure we're victorious on March 11th. State Representative Kathleen Peters, she got into this race with a strong conviction that voters deserve the choice. It is not easy to be a candidate. Mark and Kathleen have put themselves out there in front of the people over the past 2 months at great sacrifice to themselves and to their families. We owe them a debt of gratitude for doing so, and I congratulate them tonight on a race well run. Little would we have thought my family is here. Little would we have thought that the son of a construction worker in Pinellas County, or grandson, a grandson of a family who ran a grocery down by what is now Morton Plant Hospital, the son of a Southern Baptist preacher in Clearwater, would one day have the opportunity first just to work alongside one of the greatest legislators in the history of the United States Congress. But tonight be within one step of having the opportunity to follow him. This is an important night. I am humbled by this, and it is with a great respect for every voter in Pinellas County that tonight I am proud and I am honored and I am privileged to accept your nomination to be the next I stand here tonight as a Pinellas County Bill Young Republican. Bill Young Republican that knows in Washington, D.C. we have a spending problem, not a revenue problem. That the greatest threat to our national security is not some young man who wants to blow his shoe on an airplane. It's irresponsible and reckless fiscal policies out of Washington, D.C. that will cripple our economy and ensure that we are no longer the world's lone superpower. I stand here tonight as a Bill Young Republican who believes we must continue his legacy to support veterans and our seniors, our homeowners. He left us that legacy. It is up to us to carry that on. That understands you can support the men and women in uniform by providing them with the tools and technologies they need from right here in Pinellas County, and in doing so, you can provide for the skilled and unskilled workforce right here in Pinellas County and protect our local economy. I also stand here as a Bill Young Republican that understands Washington has a way of creating problems and then suggesting they know how to solve them. A bad flood insurance law today is a bad flood insurance law 4 years from now. Delaying it is simply not enough. We have to once and for all solve this with the judgment and the wisdom that Bill Young brought to his job, and I make you that pledge this evening. Now let's talk a little bit about Obamacare. Because I can tell you one thing, I stand here tonight as a Bill Young Republican who will tell you Obamacare is a bad law. I stand here as a Bill Young Republican who believes in individual freedom, not individual mandates. And I am unashamed to say we are better off repealing it tomorrow. I've met with voters throughout this county, throughout District 13, I've heard from voters who had their premiums doubled and tripled. Voters whose policies were canceled. Voters who had to postpone treatment. Small businesses who rushed to renew their plan before the impact of Obamacare. Small businesses who reduced the hours available for employees to work because if they could not avoid the additional cost of Obamacare, they likely would have let those employees go. My new opponent in this race spoke to the Washington Post this weekend, a paper I'm sure she enjoys reading. And she made the comment that wherever she goes, she does not have people walking up to her complaining about Obamacare. Well, folks, she is not walking around Pinellas County. We know this is going to be a national race. The voters have decided that Obamacare is the #1 issue in this race, not the candidates. Hoorah! And I want to make one point exceedingly clear this evening. Mr. President, with all due respect, Obamacare has hurt people in Pinellas County, Florida. I will work to repeal Obamacare right away. I will work to replace it with a private sector solution that actually does fulfill that now famous promise. If you like your insurance, you can keep it. Folks, this primary has concluded. This has been a great day for Pinellas County, Florida. Republicans in Pinellas County know how to have a primary. We have had a contest of ideas among 3 very capable candidates. Pinellas County has picked the Republican candidate in this race. The Washington establishment has picked the Democrat candidate in this race. And I will tell you, in my opinion, there is a certain Beltway arrogance. There is a very quiet audacity in what the Washington establishment has done in suggesting, and understand this, what they have suggested. The Washington establishment has suggested that there is not a single capable person in Pinellas County capable of representing our own. We are going to talk about this every step of the campaign because between now and March 11th, I am going to make sure that that quiet audacity of the Washington establishment is heard loud and clear by every voter in District 13. I want to share this evening a personal story of mine, one of the last conversations that I had with my mentor, Bill Young. And it's an important story tonight because we in this room, we know what we are up against. We know that Washington, D.C. is doing everything they can to steal this seat for Washington, D.C. We know what they are doing to try to take this seat away from the voters of Pinellas County and hand it to the Washington establishment. We know what they're doing. In one of my final conversations with Mr. Young, the two of us were speaking alone, and we were just talking about some events of the day. The conversation turned to politics. And he began to discuss the future of this district. He began to discuss what might make this race. And realizing the greater importance of everything else that was going on, I didn't feel very comfortable having the conversation and very politely just kind of demurred, and I said, "Sir, let's not talk about that right now." And in a way that only Bill Young can do, with that respect that he has for a fellow man and for everybody here in this room, he just made one statement. He said, "Just don't count yourself out." Folks, in this room, we are going to wake tomorrow running against a national machine out of Washington, D.C. that is going to outspend us every step of the way. They know what is at stake. They want to take this seat that Mr. Young so honorably represented for 43 years. That is what we were up against. They have underestimated us from the moment we got into this race. They have underestimated everybody in this room. They have underestimated this team. They have underestimated Republicans in Pinellas County to say, we will win this race. And let me tell you something. Here is your nominee tonight to the Republicans in this room who are going up against a well-funded Washington establishment machine. Do not count us out. Do not count out the people in this room. Do not count out the Pinellas County voters in this race to claim this seat and hold this seat for Pinellas County. Do not count us out. I promise you, do not count out any individual in this room who has worked so hard since November 7th to make sure we get here tonight. Do not count out everybody that knocks on doors and makes phone calls, because we are committed to doing this right. Do not count out this campaign. Washington, D.C., I am telling you, do not count out this campaign. Do not count out this candidate. We are going to win this race on March 11th. We are going to arrive here on March 11th having won this race the right way. We are going to have talked about issues. We are going to win this race because we are going to represent all that is good and right in politics, which means representing one of our own to represent our own. We are going to arrive here tired. We are going to be coarse. We are going to be bruised. We are going to be beaten, but I promise you on March 11th, I promise you, do not count us out. Do not count us out. We are going to rely on the words of Abraham Lincoln and summon the better angels of our nature between now and March 11th. We are going to win this race. So doing, we are going to honor the great and remarkable legacy of our late Bill Young. We are going to honor a man who taught us that you measure yourself not by what you've achieved, but what you've helped others achieve. We are going to honor the legacy of everything he did for our men and women in uniform, our veterans, for our seniors, for our homeowners, for our students, for our employers and our employees. We are going to honor and continue that legacy. This election tonight is very different, but it's very simple. We have in this race a Pinellas County Bill Young Republican going up against a Hillsborough County candidate handpicked by Washington, D.C. My opponent wants to win this race for Washington, D.C. I want to win this race for Pinellas County. Folks, the campaign for the future of Pinellas County begins right here, right now, this evening. My name is David Jolly. I am running for Congress, and I need your vote on March 11th.